Hello, lovely Christ the Rockers, and welcome to the thought for the day for Thursday, the 16th of April. And if you've just come across this trawling through the internet, you're welcome to join us too. And my name's Karen, and I'm just going to share a couple of thoughts with you today. I came across a Bible verse last week, and it really jumped out at me. And normally what happens is I read something and it goes in one ear, and then by the next morning I've forgotten all about it. But I kept thinking about this verse, and so I thought that I would share it with you and see if it encourages you as it did me. So it's from a story in the Old Testament about a lady called Hagar. And it's quite complicated, long story, but the long and the short of it is she was pregnant. She was having a bad time at home with her family, and so she left. She ran away. And as she ran away, she encountered an angel. And the angel said to her, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" She explained what had happened. And he said, No, go back home. And he told her all the good things that were going to happen for her and to her. And this is the verse that I read. She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. "You are the God who sees me." Because she said, "I have now seen the one who sees me." The God who sees me. And then a bit further on in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus, we learn about the Israelites, God's people who are stuck there in slavery, having a terrible life. And they called out to God. And there's a verse in there that says that they groaned to God in their slavery. And he heard them and he remembered them. And it says he looked on the Israelites and he was concerned about them. And then we skip forward into the New Testament and to Jesus, who was God. And you can learn about Peter, and who put his foot in it in every opportunity. He was impetuous and impulsive and just really heavy-handed. And God said to him, you're Peter, you will be the rock on which I'm going to build the church. And God saw Peter, what he could be. And then a bit later on, he bumped into a Samaritan lady who was drawing water at the well. And interesting story again. And they had a conversation. And eventually the disciples came back and said, "What are you doing? Why are you speaking to her?" And she went off home, and she said to the people that she came across in her home, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." And I'm thinking about this situation that we're in now. And I guess what I want to say is that whether you're on the front line, maybe you're a nurse or a doctor, a paramedic, a midwife, a police officer, whether you work in a shop, whether you drive a delivery van, whether you're in a school, anybody on the front line, you may feel under such pressure and so fearful. But what I want to say is God sees you. And it may be that you're at home with family and loving having them home and being in the garden and outside and doing craft and doing painting and having a brilliant time. Or you may have all the family at home and you're not coping. You think you're not doing enough. You're not teaching them enough. You're not being calm enough. But God sees you. And it may be that you're loving being on your own, being in isolation, and having the peace and the quiet and time to do things and to read. But maybe you're on your own and isolated and are hating it and want to be with your family, and every day is just such a trial. But whichever way you're feeling, God sees you, and God hears you, and he loves you, and that's just really all I want to say. But I want to read a poem by a chap called Gerard Kelly, and it's called "This God." This God who watches worlds sees my heart. This careful calculator, counting countless millions, counts me in. This artist whose canvas outstretches eternity at both ends, whose palette outshines planets, paints my portrait. This lover who dreams in universes, dreams of me. This creator whose breadth of vision spans time and spawns a cosmos, whose woven tapestry of purpose, more compound than chaos, eclipsing complexity, rolls out like a highway through history, whose heartbeat deafens supernovas, this perfect parent kisses me. This playwright, playing with the deaths and entrances of stars, scripting the end from the beginning, knowing the purpose of the play, watches my feeble audition and writes me in. I'm just going to pray for us. God, thank you so much for all the people that we can read about in the Bible, who you loved, who you heard, who you saw. Thank you that wherever we are, whatever we're feeling, you see us and you love us. And I pray, Lord, today that we will feel your love and your hope and your peace in our lives. Amen. See you soon.